Well, friends, good evening. It figures that as my voice is disappearing, I get one of the longest gospels we've had yet here. I've got my NPR voice on today. Good evening. I'm like the movie trailer guy. That's what this is feeling like. All right. Some of you are like, just preach. Okay, I will. All right. We're still in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew's Gospel, chapter 5, Jesus' great teaching exhortation. And I don't know how your heart receives this instruction from the Lord, but it almost seems as though there's this sort of spiritual knee-jerk reaction to the mention of law and commandment, especially in the religious context. Like, why is it that we seem to have an allergic reaction to the idea of God and the church telling us what to do? What's with that? I think it's because we misunderstand what freedom really is, and we misunderstand what God's law and what his commandments really are about. I think those two twin sisters coupled together are a real big problem for us. First, freedom. Freedom is not what many modern Americans in the West tend to think it is. Just the ability to do what I want, when I want, where I want, how I want, with whomever I want. Being unconstrained. That's not freedom, that's license. You heard that in that second reading. This is license. It isn't authentic liberty. This undirected sheer will, just the ability to hover above this or that and choose this or that. That's not freedom, that's license. Freedom is not having the ability to do whatever you'd like, it's having the ability to do what you ought. That's a good St. John Paul II definition of freedom right there. It's a great story of when he came, landed on whatever, the Vatican Air Force One, whatever that jet's called. He landed in Washington Dulles Airport, and the President Reagan greets him. And he says, he says, Holy Father, welcome to the land of the free. And John Paul II retorted and said, yes, but free for what? Was his response. Free for what? What's our freedom for? It's not having the ability to do what you'd like, it's having the ability to do what you ought. Listen, to spontaneously and effortlessly choose the authentically good. To spontaneously and effortlessly choose the good and to do the good. That which enables me to become something more, to become holier and freer and more human. To become saintly, which is to say to become more like God, which is the end for which we exist. To become more like God. Like 15-something odd years ago, 16 years ago now, gosh, that's a long time ago, I was studying abroad. I did 5 months living in Rome. It was an awesome experience in my seminary days. When I began that 5-month study abroad, I was not a free speaker of Italian. I was babbling, I was buongiorno, pizza, cappuccino. That was about all I got. I couldn't just babble away and make any sounds, pretending like I knew Italian. Like I couldn't just fake it, right? No, I had to submit myself to study and discipline and flashcards, and I hung out in cafes and listened to Italian speakers. By the end of it, I was pretty fluent. I was pretty good. It was more than just, hey, where's the bathroom in the restaurant? I could listen to homilies and engage people on the streets. But you had to submit your freedom to a discipline. The law is a guiding principle, right? That's what the Lord's commands are. They are enabling freedom, right? His commands are, think of it this way, they're like the advice of a good doctor whose aim is your wholeness, your health. Like, if you would flourish, and I want you to flourish, then you mustn't do this, and you must strive to do this, right? If you would flourish, if you would be happy and healthy and holy, right? You mustn't do this, and you must do that. Like, there are things that are inimical to our flourishing, right? Just like, back when I first came here in the summertime, I again had the thought of, I'm going to try and be a plant guy. Some of you already know where the story's going. Okay, so I got all these plants. I went to the Home Depot down the street, and I saw all these little plants have these little cards in them that tell you what to do with the plant, how much to water it, how much sunshine it needs, those sorts of things. Like, are there just like a bunch of bigoted botanists out there who are just trying to crack down on my freedom? Like who are you to tell me what to do with my plant? I want to put orange juice in my plant. You're free to do that, but you're not free of the consequences of that. No, if you want this plant to flourish, do this, do this. Like, there is such a thing as human nature, because there is a definitive end, a destiny or a goal of our human lives. So that means that God's laws, his commandments, they're ordered towards our ultimate good and our final end. They are for, as Paul says, they're for our glory. They're for our glory. Jesus, he comes on the scene. He says, do you think that I came to abolish the law? Like all of those laws in the past, just forget about it. No, I came to fulfill. In other words, to bring it to fulfillment through the gift of the Spirit. Right? Jesus, acting as the new Moses, ascends the mountain to deliver the new law. To deliver the new law of the new covenant, which is fueled by the transforming effect of the Spirit and the transforming effect of grace. The transforming effect of grace. Later on in the gospel, Jesus will distill all of the law. He'll distill it down into the great commandment. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Right? That's the distillation of the whole law. Like, this is Jesus' law for our good. Love the Lord with everything you have, and love your neighbor around you as yourself. Those are not options if you want to be free and holy and flourishing. You know, in our contemporary context, right, in our contemporary political landscape, with all of the craziness that's happening and the turbulence that we see in social media and the evening news, all of that, we've heard a lot of concern about our neighbors, people using that phrase. We're concerned about our neighbors. But when concern for neighbors becomes disconnected from Christ, it becomes an untethered Christian value that just goes berserk. It goes berserk. Like, we are indeed called to love our neighbors. It's a commandment from the Lord. And there really are countless men and women and children in our own diocese, in our local area, who are struggling tremendously with all sorts of issues, health crises, pregnancy crises, people who are starving and hungry with food insecurity, people who are homeless and have been and are sleeping in their cars or sleeping in tents or tent cities. When I was in the seminary, I had the great privilege of working with Catholic Charities, and I got to visit one of those tent cities in Lorain County. Let me tell you, it's an unbelievable reality. We've got neighbors in our community who are battling for a better and cleaner life, free of their drug addictions, free of alcohol dependency, all of those sorts of things. We have people in need of emergency assistance. We got people who are migrants and refugees from war-torn areas who are just literally fleeing unimaginable things, and they're settling here, trying to live and navigate a better life. Right? The church, the Catholic Church from the beginning, has always seen Christ present, hiding in the distressing disguise of the poor. Always, from the very beginning. And the church has always responded. Like, that very thing is the witness that so much transformed the Roman Empire at the beginning. Look at how they love each other, they would say. Look at how they take care of each other. No one used to do what the Christians did. No one took care of the poor and the widows and the orphans. No one did that. That was Christianity that changed the world. It's Christianity that changed the world, and it's still happening. It's still happening. This weekend, as you heard in the beginning of the Mass announcement, we have the opportunity to concretely help our neighbors by supporting the mission of Catholic Charities. In our own diocese, Catholic Charities just serves hundreds of thousands of people. Like I said, when I was in seminary, I had the privilege of working with a number of different Catholic Charities ministries throughout my seminary days. Bishop Lennon, when he was here, he wanted the seminarians' apostolates to be much more aligned with Catholic Charities. So I was the guinea pig for 2 years. I got to kind of sample all these different ministries in the diocese. I got to see some amazing stuff and got to meet some amazing people. And the scope of their work is just breathtaking. And the number of people who are committed to putting concrete hands and flesh and faces and sweat and tears into the corporal works of mercy, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.